I'm not being provocative here, but you mentioned Trent obviously leaving, which has been written about. But the other two, are they negotiating with the other two right now, Van Dijk and Salah?
Well, I think the negotiations have obviously been going on for a long time, but I don't think they're actually... I think they've probably both made the finals offers, if you like. I don't think Liverpool will be bowing too much, to be honest. I think they'll say, we're okay at your age.
We'll get back to Gary and Jamie and Big Dunk in just a quick second. But remember, if you like this video, please like, share and subscribe. And don't forget to click the notification button so that you know when the next Big D Talks Football video hits. And as ever, if there's something on your mind, if something is bubbling up inside of you that you need to express, please put it in the comments. The Big D reads all of the comments and he is always interested in what is on your mind. Anyway, in this little clip, it's a little clip from Sky Sports. It's actually before the Merseyside derby. And Gary is going to put Jamie Carragher on the spot as to why Liverpool haven't sorted out Virgil van Dijk and Salah, let alone Trent Alexander-Arnold. Stick around for after the clip because the Big D is going to be talking his opinions and reacting to what he said in this clip. Here they are.
Well, Gary, we were talking about that first game at Goodison Park earlier this season as well. I think we probably saw what it meant to both sides at that point as well. Everton desperate for points at that point in terms of the survival, but Liverpool looking to ease any fears of a wobble in the title race. And what are you expecting tonight then?
Look, I mean, for Liverpool, obviously they've had a period of time off. They've got a fantastic period to look forward to in terms of winning the league. I imagine they've reset, you know, mentally and physically after the last few weeks, and I expect them to be on top form tonight and obviously a great atmosphere. But yeah, obviously Arsenal winning last night puts a tiny little bit of pressure on it in the sense that if Liverpool were to lose tonight, it would be a bad one for them, but they're too far in front and I'd expect them to sort of comfortably get home for the title, and tonight will be the start of that run-in.
Did that international break then come at an opportune moment for Liverpool, given what happened against Newcastle and against PSG?
Yeah, I mean, obviously it was a bad week for them where everything was on the table for them this season, it felt like, and they were obviously had the wind taken out of the sails a little bit. Obviously we were at Wembley, it was a great day for Newcastle, but they didn't turn up Liverpool on the day, and it was really surprising. I think Paris Saint-Germain are a really good side. I think everyone felt that they just lost the better of a tough tie on that one, but I think with Newcastle it was a bit different. So, look, the league, they can go level with Manchester United on 20, which is painful. So it's to win the league in this season for Arne Slot in his first season would still be a remarkable first season for him.
Is there still any distraction with that contract situation for Trent, for Mo Salah, for Virgil van Dijk? I know you guys on the Overlap have had a lot to say about it in the past week as well.
He did over there, Carragher. Go on, here he is. Here he is. Come on, let's get him on. No, look. I understand that Liverpool fans are a little bit hurt about Trent, but I think if you're obviously outside of Liverpool, we'd have been probably the same at United, but we got used to it. Liverpool fans got used to it all those years ago, and Steve McManaman left, Michael Owen left, David Beckham left Manchester United, Ruud van Nistelrooy did, Cristiano Ronaldo, all left to go to Real Madrid. It's a compelling club. So I think ultimately this man here that's just arrived, he's a little bit upset about Trent Alexander-Arnold potentially going to Real Madrid, but it looks like it's going to happen.
But ultimately as well,
I'm not as upset as he should be with that coat. I mean, where do you get that? I mean, that is awful.
Aside from the code, ultimately, I mean, bring Jamie in on this as well. If you could come and join us, Jamie, because I just wondered, Big Dunk's here as well. I'll get Duncan in as well. Didn't realise Duncan was there. But just on the way Arne Slot has handled the whole contract situation. Duncan, good to see you as well. So we got all three of the lineup on Sky Sports this evening. But Jamie, just the way Arne has handled things throughout the season, the contract situation he seems to have handled pretty well as well.
Yeah, listen, he's really good in the press conferences. He doesn't create a stir or noise, really. I think that's just his way. We're getting used to him, you know, the longer that he's here. And I think it'll just be great for him next season when he's not answering those questions. And hopefully, for everyone involved with the club, that all three stay. I don't see it all three staying. It looks like, as he's just mentioned there, Trent Alexander-Arnold, maybe the one who looks to go. But fingers crossed the other two stay.
Being back here with Duncan alongside you, Duncan as well, alongside Jamie. Bring back memories of battles here in the past?
A lot of great memories, don't they? We didn't do very well here. Everton not got a very good record over the years here, you know, but remember Jamie was only a young man then, and so was I suppose when you made your, you never made your debut, but one of your earlier games. But yeah, he was a great battler, wasn't he? A fantastic player.
What was he like?
It was the same. He was, what can I say? You're fantastic. I mean, you know, so it's great to be back. And yeah, it brings back fond memories.
It's some job that David Moyes has done turning Everton's season around, but how how does he bring this Everton team here and kind of change that record here at Anfield this evening? Do you give him much of a chance?
We give him a chance, don't we? Because I mean, he lose one game in 10 games or something, so there'll be a bit of momentum there. I know he's had quite a few draws the last 4 or 5 games, but they've got a chance. There's always a chance in a derby game. So yeah, they've got to be compact and they've got to be hard to beat, which we think they will be, and counter-attack set plays. And I would think that Liverpool have most of the possession, and they'll just look for the counter-attack, I think.
Jamie, I take it you can't see any wobble for Liverpool in the remaining games now?
Well, listen, they've had a little bit of a wobble in the last few weeks. I just think the international break has probably been good for them, just to everyone to sort of just calm the nerves, rest up as well, because they looked a little bit leggy on the back of playing extra time against Paris Saint-Germain, which you'd expect. And Newcastle, almost after 15 or 20 minutes of that game, you're looking at it and you're almost hoping that Liverpool find a way to get back into it rather than believing that they would, because they just didn't feel like there was any spark or energy at any stage of that game. But having been now, not played for a couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks now, I think, and the title at stake, it's a Merseyside derby. I think that energy and it has to retain. Well, it has to. There's no option.
And as it was Gary's interview, I'll let you, Gary.
No, I'm not being provocative here, but you mentioned Trent obviously leaving, which has been written about. But the other two, are they negotiating with the other two right now, Van Dijk and Salah?
Well, I think the negotiations have obviously been going on for a long time, but I don't think they're actually. I think they've probably both made the finals offers, if you like. I don't think Liverpool will be bowing too much, to be honest. I think they'll say, well, okay, at your age, and what we're going to do in the future. We're not paying you for what you've done in the past. It's what we do in the future. But the flip side of it also is Liverpool might be looking at it and thinking, well, where else can you go? Now, they are two of the best players in the world. There's no doubt about that. But I think the way football clubs are run now, I think in terms of putting a lot of money into wages-wise into players of that age, I think most clubs around the world would rather finance someone who is probably younger. So that's where Liverpool may be thinking, OK, we'll stay strong on that situation. But I think for the player and the club, if those two players aren't here next season, you'd probably look at the both of them and say, how was that something not sorted? Because Liverpool are in a great position, to win a few trophies over the next few years, I think, with those two involved. And I think it would just be daft if they're not here.
I agree with you in that sense, into you never sort of want to be sort of beholden to a player, particularly one that's 32 and 33 or 34.
Are you all right there, Vinny?
Sorry, Vinny. Okay. No, I've actually had 2 weeks off, so Vinny, I'm really interested. Really, I'm interested in the fact that who would you say has been more important in Liverpool winning the league this season? Because they're going to win the league. Van Dijk and Salah collectively together, or Arne Slot?
Ooh,
if you think about winning the league next year, I know the manager's done a great job, but you can never take anything away from a manager. But those two on the pitch have been absolutely incredible.
No, I think this season, I think it's a toss-up. I think Salah could end up having almost his greatest season in Liverpool share, so it may just be Salah. But in terms of the two players and their overall influence on Liverpool Football Club since they come out, for me, Virgil van Dijk, even though Salah gets all the goals.
That wasn't the question. They're going to win the league this year. Have the two players had more influence on winning the league than the manager?
Oh,
I would say so. Yeah, absolutely. They're the ones that are doing the business. I mean, Salah's numbers are incredible. Yeah. Van Dijk, at the end of the day, they're the ones that are playing the game, aren't they? They're playing the match. Obviously, the manager's important, but they're wonderful players and they've made the difference, haven't they? Where's Liverpool without Salah and Van Dijk?
That's why
I know you said that last year about Klopp, didn't you? If Klopp went, you thought it'd all fall apart. That was. I
did. I thought there'd be a massive drop off. Thanks, Vinny.
Thank you, Gary. It's good to have the boys back after the international break. And thanks to Gary Neville for making my job that bit easier. But of course, the whole game is live on Sky Sports from 7 o'clock.
It's a strange situation that Liverpool find themselves in. Now, just for the record, the Big D feels as though long term, assuming their footballing project remains in place, which it seems to still be in place, long term, I think Liverpool will be fine. They'll be fine. They'll have someone that they've got their eye on in Holland or Germany or Austria or Slovenia or wherever that they'll be able to sign and slot in to replace Mo Salah, Virgil van Dijk and Trent Alexander-Arnold at some point over the course of the next 5 years. However, if all three of those players were to go, Liverpool will slump a bit next season. Absolutely. I mean, It was an interesting little snippet towards the end of that little clip there when, Gary asked who had the biggest influence on winning the title this season, those three players collectively or the manager. Well, I think it's been both. It's been both the players and the manager. However, I do feel as though that the players were the magic dust, but all Arne Slot had to do was slip into the club, set them up, nice and organised, and just let them play. Because they all know how to play with each other. They've been playing it with each other for a long time now. They've actually won the league together, mostly. So they just needed to win football matches and not get in each other's way. And that's what Arne Slot done. That was the most intelligent thing he did, was just come in there and just organise them and not get in the way and just let them play. So, credit to Arne Slot for doing that. But in terms of sort of next season, I think there'll be a second season drop off for Arne Slot. I do. Once the novelty of the new manager's worn off, I'm not entirely sure he'll bring in some radical ideas that'll sort of transform them into treble winners, for instance. I don't think he's that kind of manager. I think Liverpool are set up now where they can just interchange managers whenever they feel as though they need a refresh, and I think that's most well-run football clubs now. Gone are the days of the overarching football guru, what can I say, the overall footballing dictator who, controls everything and controls the touch, the touchline and all of that, like Alex Ferguson, Arsene Wenger and Shankly and Sir Matt Busby and all those guys from the past. It's not like that anymore. Football clubs are ran like corporations now, so it's like shareholders replacing the CEO. That's what football clubs are like now, with the board replacing the manager, so to speak. So as long as they keep an eye over the medium to long term in terms of the footballing personnel and they manage the books efficiently, then I think Liverpool will be fine, because there's always another Salah coming through, there's always another Van Dijk coming through. It's very rare you get a player that's irreplaceable. All you need is either lots of money or good scouting, or both. When Roy Keane was around, he was the best sort of box-to-box midfielder in the Premier League, until he wasn't, and then Steven Gerrard probably was. Before Roy Keane, it was Brian Robson. Before him, he might have been, I don't know, Graham Souness. So there's always someone coming through, and Liverpool, they replaced Firmino, they replaced Mane as well. And just look at Manchester City. They had Aguero, the top scorer of their club of all time. What did they do? They bought Erling Haaland, who then scored 50 goals in the season or whatever it was. Man United were able to replace Peter Schmeichel eventually, and then Van der Sar eventually. So there's always players coming along. It's just a question of how good is your scouting network and how well are you managing your finances. That's it. Football is not a complicated sport. It's not a complicated game. It's not even chess. It's men kicking a ball into the net of other men and not having the ball kicked into their own net. That's it. So it'll be an interesting one to see next season. I can't see all three of them going. In terms of, where would they go? Well, for a start, Mo Salah could go to Saudi Arabia and get $1 billion a year. Virgil van Dijk could go to Italy and he could play 5 years there. Paolo Maldini played until he was 72 or something like that. So how old's Virgil van Dijk? About 33 or something. He could. His style, his game would be well suited for Italy. So there's no reason why he can't go and play for Roma or Juventus or AC Milan. I think Trent's making the right decision going to Real Madrid. I think that'll be a fantastic experience for him, and why not? Fresh challenge, new challenge, done everything at Liverpool, doesn't owe them anything. One more big fat payday, and kicking a ball in the sun. Why not? And it just got me thinking there a little bit. Like normally in England, Man United were the team, like when I was growing up, were the team that used to pluck all the best players from all the other teams in the league. So we plucked Cantona from Leeds. We plucked Roy Keane from Forest. We plucked, who else? We plucked Michael Carragher from Spurs, and various other, like Wayne Rooney from Everton, and various other places like that. But it just got me thinking there for a second. Real Madrid are treating every other team in the world like what Man United treat teams like Everton back in the day. Nicking Steve McManaman from Liverpool, nicking Rudiger from Chelsea, nicking Beckham, Van Nistelrooy, Ronaldo from United. They got Chicharito offers as well, although I think we gave him away strangely. So it's just funny. There's always a bigger fish, it seems. So there's always a bigger fish, and I wonder when Real Madrid will have their down cycle, because they've been smashing it for like a decade now. But hey ho indeed. But what do you guys think? Will Liverpool be able to replace those 3 players and continue next season, or will there be a drop-off next season? Thoughts in the comments, and the Big D will see you in the next one.